Welcome to the WAGAS Innovation Talks. This podcast offers you an insight into recent innovations in the tech business, driven by research and industry insight. We are talking to researchers and professionals to share their expertise, experience, and projects with us. As a think tank and accelerator, we support tech startups and corporations in growing their business. We believe innovation is key to growth and hope to shine light on academic research and experts with real-life industry experience. To learn more, visit wagas-group.com and find all our podcast episodes plus articles and resources to expand your horizon on tech innovations. My name is Livia van Herde, Marketing and Sales Manager at WAGAS, and today is a very special episode because we have two guests sharing their insights with us. I am very excited to talk to Armaghan Fazil and Leo Maurice from Kalima today about IoT and blockchain technologies. Armaghan received his master's degree from Kedge Business School. He initiated several humanitarian projects during a semester-long leadership program. He worked as management assistant at Europ Assistance, where he coordinated international operational activities and connected customers with the company's foreign offices. He then went on to work as a project manager at UDV Group, where he was a commercial facilitator for multiple high-end international airlines. Today, he's in charge of the business development of Kalima Systems as business development manager, where he works alongside his colleague Leo Maurice, who is a guest today as well. Leo is based in Bordeaux, in France. He holds a master's degree in economics and international finance from the Université de Bordeaux. He has held positions as a junior consultant for Chiamo. He went on to be a commercial development strategist for Studco, and he is currently business developer at Kalima Systems. Kalima is an embedded blockchain technology dedicated to the industrial Internet of Things, IoT. Welcome to the podcast, Leo and Armaghan.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Livia.
Well, today we will talk about IoT and blockchain innovations.
Yep.
Those are two technologies that have been booming, and I'm sure everyone has heard about it before. This is your area of expertise, especially blockchain for IoT, right? So can you explain the main advantages of blockchain for IoT?
Yeah, I will explain it. So first, maybe to give a bit of context, I will try to describe what is a blockchain and what is the Internet of Things and what are the issues with the Internet of Things that blockchain can solve. So first, a blockchain is an immutable digital shared ledger which is secured by a hash chain. So the hash chain is a cryptographic process that will secure the data. So it can be used to track financial transactions like we have with cryptocurrencies. So everyone knows Bitcoin, for example, which is a financial blockchain. But it can also be used to record any transaction, such as IoT data or, for example, record digital identity, traceability of goods, etc. So it's not only the financial purposes or not only the cryptocurrencies.
Right, yeah.
So the key characteristic of blockchain is that first, it is peer-to-peer, which means that you don't need a trusted party or a middleman. Then it's distributed, which means that proof of every transaction is in more than one place. So every member of the network will have a complete copy of the ledger. And then the last point is that it's immutable, which means that once the data is committed into the blockchain, it cannot be edited, which will increase trust and reduce risk of fraud. So now the IoT, so the Internet of Things, so of course all the objects that are connected to the Internet, it keeps growing in popularity around the world. So right now it's we have 25 billion devices that are connected to the Internet, I think. And we will have it. We expect to have 75 billion IoT devices installed worldwide in 2025. So all these devices, they collect data that are then converted into insights and then into actions. And this impacts a lot the business processes, the AI, the predictive maintenance, etc. So these data are very important. However, there's still a number of technical and security concerns that remained unaddressed for the Internet of Things. So first, there is the security issue. It's a major concern with IoT because devices often suffers with some security vulnerabilities that make them an easy target for cyber attacks. We have seen an important number of attacks in recent years that have caused disruptions for organizations. One of the famous one is, for example, the Jeep hack. I don't know if you heard about it. That
No, I
happened a
haven't.
few years ago. So
Okay.
you have some researchers that managed by exploiting firmware updates. They managed to hack the vehicle, and they discovered that they could make it speed up, slow down, and even go off the road. So basically, they took control of the Jeep. So that's one example of the security issues that needs to be solved.
Yeah.
And the other important issue is the quality and the integrity of data. Since we make very important business decisions based on this IoT data, it is a key element to have the traceability and to be sure of the quality of the IoT data. And with standards IoT protocols, it is very hard to keep up with all the data coming in from so many different sources. So we designed Kalima blockchain to respond and to solve these issues by providing a secured, immutable ledger. So to answer the question, what are the advantages of blockchain and IoT?
Yeah.
So first, it means that we will solve the security issue by using a blockchain and storing IoT data in the blockchain. We add another layer of security that hackers will have to bypass in order to get access to the network.
Yeah.
So it provides a much more robust level of encryption that makes it almost impossible to overwrite existing data records. Yeah, so that's the first point, the cybersecurity, which is very important, and also the importance of the quality of the data. With the Kalima blockchain, we allow our clients to have a full traceability on their data, and to guarantee the integrity and immutability of the data. And that means that you are sure that the devices, your IoT devices, send all the data that they collected, and no data has been modified when they are stored into the blockchain. Since in the blockchain we have multiple nodes that are comparing in real time all the data, if an entry is inaccurate, then other nodes will immediately detect it. So this allows us to have a good quality traceability on data, to do analysis, reporting, machine learning, and predictive maintenance, for example, on a solid basis, on data that are trusted. So I think if we had to retain maybe four primary benefits of blockchain IoT is first, as I mentioned, the security, which is very important. Then the integrity of data, which means that the blockchain, when the data are stored into the blockchain, that cannot be edited, so that makes them much more accurate. The traceability, to trace and track any problems, allowing the businesses to quickly fix potential issues. And then the last point is the trust between the member of the blockchain. Since all the members of the network have the same copy of the ledger, they can always have the ledger makes truth. It's really represent the truth because everyone can compare the ledger.
Leo told you everything about the advantages of blockchain for IoT, which are mainly, resolving security issues and ensuring traceability and immutability of data. Since the blockchain for IoT market is a exponentially growing market, there will be, and there already are, security issues which needs to be resolved. So that's mainly what blockchain for IoT helps with.
Okay, great. Well, I'd love to hear more about real life applications of this technology. Can you give us an example of projects where blockchain has been used for IoT?
Yeah, sure. So I will give some examples we have. So in France, we work with Enedis, which is the main electricity distributor in France. And we developed a solution to monitor their substation infrastructure. So that's the infrastructure where you transform the very high voltage electricity to medium voltage before sending it to the electricity network. So Enedis wanted to leverage blockchain and IoT technology to provide a cost-effective interconnection between equipments and maintenance team. So we proposed a solution composed of our IoT devices that collect and send the data from the sensors of the infrastructure, so temperature data, humidity, pressure, liquid level, etc. So many data from sensors, and then they send them to the cloud and to mobile application of the maintenance team through the Kalima blockchain. So this will allow the Enedis maintenance team to have the real-time secure data of their infrastructures in mobility on their smartphone or tablet. So all the data are stored into the blockchain so that Enedis can have the trusted records of every alarms that are being triggered on site, every interventions that the maintenance operators did on site, etc. So it's basically all the data of the site that can be exploited to do maintenance, predictive maintenance analysis and reporting about this data. Another example that I can mention is in the automotive industry. So automotive industries are using IoT-enabled sensors to develop for example, to develop fully automated vehicles.
Right. Yeah.
So that's a very interesting subject. And here the cybersecurity is very important. So I mentioned before the hack with the chip. So this is one example. So connecting an IoT-enabled vehicle with the blockchain enables multiple users to exchange crucial informations easily and quickly. So, for example, in France, we work with a French automotive supplier to embed the blockchain into the vehicle. So this will lead to many use cases in the future to allow the car to communicate with the city. So, for example, if you have an electrical vehicle to communicate with smart chargers, and many use cases are possible with the interconnection of the vehicle and the blockchain. Another use case that I can mention in the supply chain. So in the supply chain, the blockchain is very useful because the supply chain network will involve many stakeholders. So you have the suppliers, maybe the broker, the raw material providers, etc. So the blockchain will help the supply chain by reducing the cost and the time of solving issues. Because we have this ledger that is shared between every member of the network, we have more transparency. It will enhance the reliability and the traceability of the network. So, for example, we work in France with Tenneco, so also an automotive supplier and we have developed for them the solution for their supply chain to allow them to have the full transparency and traceability with their clients based on the Kalima blockchain.
Where will this technology be in the future? Could you provide some of the projections that are foreseen in the world of blockchain with its predominant market?
As I was telling you, the blockchain for IoT market is for now, it is a new emerging market. It is a growing market. And according to the market studies, the global demand for blockchain IoT market stood at 62.30 million in 2019, sorry, and it is expected to reach almost 15,000 million in 2028. Between 20 and 2028, it is going to be a exponentially growing market. And this growth that I'm telling you about will be mainly driven by the Asian and the North American market. these two regions, they'll represent 88% of the total market of blockchain for IoT in 2028, with Asia more precisely representing 43% of the total market. And in terms of industries, it seems that it's mainly going to be manufacturing, transportation for the track and trace part and the security part, but also smart cities that will represent the most of the demand in terms of blockchain for IoT. And in terms of projections, we also have right now the keys applications of blockchain for IoT, which are the asset management and the tracking and the data security. So tracking of data, storing data, and securing that data. So these are the key applications for blockchain IoT, and the demand is growing every year for the next few years.
And what do you think are the next breakthroughs for blockchain applications?
Personally, and according to market studies, but also according to the technology, one of the next steps for blockchain applications is to use more and more artificial intelligence. With the Kalima blockchain, especially, we already have the possibility to implement artificial intelligence in our applications. But we can even go further, since there's a natural complementarity between the two, between blockchain and AI. Because blockchain safely stores and transmits data, while AI requires huge amounts of reliable data to discover patterns and to learn. And there are potential benefits in different type of areas, such as in healthcare, in the medicine industry, in the autonomous vehicles industry, and a lot of different and additional areas of applications which are not even thought of yet. And in many cases, AI could not be used with assurance of the safety and reliability of data that the blockchain brings, the blockchain technology brings, and vice versa. The value of many blockchain applications would be very limited without the artificial intelligence. And I think I can also add the fact that the next big steps for blockchain applications will be the use of blockchain for IoT for smart cities at a large scale. This has been studied and explored, and it could totally revolutionize the management of smart cities in order to coordinate, in order to integrate and to control different city services with transparency, with efficiency, and with security and privacy. For example, data from streetlights, data from parking lots, waste bins, sensors such as environmental sensors or other urban devices or objects could be transformed into tradable tokens. Try to think of the information a parking sensor, for example, generates about the car lot being vacant or busy. It could become a token or traded, and parking of operators could buy these info tokens, as they're called, to design and to offer their own smart parking services. And that's one example. And these type of applications can fuel private businesses. It benefits it benefits cities and people, since it ensures having lower traffic and pollution, and therefore a higher quality of life. And that's what we are aiming to with the smart cities. There are a lot of actually use cases we're actually exploring with Kalima ourselves, and that we will be developing to change the way that we design and that we think of cities. So yes, smart cities, I believe, and we believe, will be a big area of applications for the blockchain for IoT.
I totally agree with Armaghan and the importance of the smart city for blockchain. I think we will see amazing things in the future using the blockchain for the smart cities. Yeah, for sure.
Well, we've reached the end of our podcast episode. Thank you so much for your insight, Leo and Armaghan.
Thank you, Olivia.
Thank you very much for having us.
You can read more at wagas-group.com. This has been your Innovation Talks podcast produced by Livia van Herde. Make sure to check back next month for the latest insight in innovation.